Determining one's intelligence is commonly done through an intelligence quotient test, or more popularly known as the IQ test. However, a world-renowned cognitive psychologist from the U.S. believes intelligence is not a single attribute that can be measured and given a number. Dr. Howard Gardner formulated the multiple intelligences theory that suggests there are many other kinds of intelligence. Dr. Gardner himself joins us in the studio to further discuss his theory of multiple intelligence. We are also joined by Mary Joy Canon-Abaquin. She is the directress of the Multiple Intelligence International School and a student. You actually learned from Dr. Gardner himself, is that right?
No, actually, I went through, it's called Project Zero. It's, and it's a program at Harvard that we're in, there are a lot of, they discuss the multiple intelligence theories, among other things.
All right, tell us first, Dr. Gardner, how did you come up with this theory? I know we've heard from our grandmothers here in the Philippines. We talk a lot about making sure that you let the child develop whatever it is he or she is passionate about. It should be something that we know, but then there is this resurgence of this knowledge that we should have known way, way back.
Well, of course, one can have theories about intelligence just from common sense and from wisdom, but my theory was based on knowledge about how the brain is organized, knowledge about very unusual kinds of people, prodigies, savants, autistic children, what we know about the development of different capacities in different environments. I spent a lot of time trying to understand what kind of a brain and mind you need to survive in the very different ecologies in the world. So for better or for worse, it's a theory which is based upon the major scientific disciplines, and that's what distinguishes it from just us getting up in the morning and say, hey, there's a humor intelligence or a television intelligence or a cooking intelligence. And the intelligences which I describe are now at least 8 and possibly 9.
Give us an idea, well, mention it. I know some of them, but for the benefit of those who've just heard this for the first time, tell us about these 8 intelligences.
The first thing to realize is when people generally talk about intelligence, they're really talking about what you need to succeed in a certain kind of school. And I call that linguistic intelligence and logical intelligence. And there's no question that in many schools, being good with language and being logical is a help. Nobody would deny that. But if you think about the human mind not as something just for school, but about what it takes to survive throughout history, or even prehistory, and throughout all the different ecologies of the world, you discover at least 6 other intelligences: musical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, what I call the naturalist intelligence, and then 2 kinds of intelligences dealing with human beings: interpersonal, which is understanding other people, and intrapersonal, understanding yourself. And my claim is that if you wanted to understand human beings as a species, we're the species that has these 8 intelligences. We all have linguistic and musical and spatial and so on. But what makes life interesting and what makes education complicated is people differ in their profiles of intelligence. So you might have more linguistic intelligence, Joy might have more interpersonal intelligence, I might have more musical intelligence, and either you can ignore that in education or you can take it seriously. And MI schools tend to take seriously the individual's profile of strengths and weaknesses.
So is that another way of saying as well that there is no child who is not intelligent? Everyone has some sort of intelligence, although it may not be in the fields that we are used to, like excelling in school, academics, math, and debate or whatever.
Well, I don't want to sound like John Kerry, but I have to say yes.
That's all right. A campaign and election is over.
No, in the sense that life isn't fair. Actually, I was learning about Jose Rizal,
our national hero, yes.
And he seems to have had abundance of the different intelligences.
I know, he's
maybe not musical, but the other ones. And some people don't have a great abundance of intelligences. So in that sense, the answer is no. But the answer is yes, in the sense that everybody has relative strengths. So you might not be as good in spatial as an aviator, but you might still be better in spatial than you are in musical. And as educators, we can't say, give me another child. We say, what is the child's strength, and can we use that strength to teach effectively?
All right, let's take it to more concrete terms here in the Philippines, and I'll have to ask Joy about this. You've opened several educational institutions that promote multiple intelligence. For the parent who wants to look for a school or who just is confused with a different kind of approach that teachers have, what are the implications of the multiple intelligences theory?
Yeah. I think the MI theory actually empowers a parent and teachers, because then you're given a different lens to look at children. Normally, as been said, the intelligence is valued in the classroom to be successful, or the linguistic and non-logical math. But not all children learn in the same way. And as parents, if you have more than one child, you know that in spite of rearing them in the same way, each of your children are different. And to be able to appreciate that about a child, and to know how to develop that most by giving them experiences in the classroom wherein they can access more information and more understanding, because they're using the strengths that they have, or the stronger intelligence, or they get an entry point, as they say, to teaching this child. Then there's a better chance for this child to really succeed and really understand what concepts you're teaching. In the same way as a parent, it empowers you, because now you look at this child and you appreciate them for their actual profile, and not necessarily because they're like you. Like my daughter is totally different from what I am, and she has intelligences that are strong in areas that I'm weak in. And so if I weren't aware of that as a parent, I wouldn't value those intelligences or give them the environment or the support to be able for this child to actually nourish that and develop it.